Welcome to Supplier Spot Spotlight, the podcast where we shine a light on the RV, park, and campground outdoor hospitality industry. Join us as we chat with suppliers, park owners, and staff, uncovering insights, strategies, and stories that will elevate your outdoor experience. Get ready for inspiration and innovation in every episode.
Hey everybody, Bobby Sorden here again with Supplier Spot Spotlight Podcast. And now I have my next guest, TJ Ammon with Campsite 360. Hey TJ, how are you doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
Good, thanks, man. I really do appreciate you coming on with me. I know we've been trying to plan this for a while, and your schedule, my schedule this summer has been crazy hectic, which is a good thing. So thanks again for taking the time out. And I'm looking at your background here, and I can tell you're broadcasting. I think you travel around in a fifth wheel, right? Is that correct?
We do. Yeah, so we've traveled for the last 2.5 years just about around the country.
You and your family are full-timers, right?
We are, yes.
So It's you, your wife, and if I remember right, 3 girls, is that right?
3 daughters, 10, 6, and 4. So
man.
We have a full RV.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. And I know the last time I saw you, you were, I don't know, somewhere in Florida or Tennessee or something. Where are you at today?
So we've made it out to the West Coast. So today we are in eastern Idaho, and we'll be heading over towards the Tetons later this weekend for Labor Day.
Great. Are you actually at like an RV park right now, or are you just dry docking somewhere?
No, we're actually at an RV park here, kind of staging up before we head into the national park.
Great. Can we do a plug for them? Let them know where you're at. Do you mind saying where
you're at? This is Swan Valley RV Resort in Swan Valley, Idaho. Small little place. I think it's only got 10 or 12 spots, but It is nestled in this valley of the mountains, and the scenery is beautiful.
Great. Well, good. So if anybody's around the Idaho area, go to Swan Valley. So cool. Well, great, TJ. Thanks again for coming on with me. I know a lot of what we talk about when I do these spotlights is we talk a little bit about Supplier Spot, the idea I came up with and just launched of March of this year, 2024. And I wanted to talk a little bit with you about when I contacted you originally before I even launched Supplier Spot to get your thoughts and ideas about it, to say, hey, is this something you think would work? Because to all our viewers out there, I traveled around for the past 2 years with another company at a lot of trade shows and conferences and met great people like you and Joe and all these guys with, at my community and all the new book people. I mean, I can just go on, but I always really connected with people like you and wanted to get your thoughts and feedback about it. So we talked before I launched it because I wanted to know, hey, TJ, do you think this is something that could work for people like you who are trying to, get your services out there to RV parks and campgrounds, and you could list yourself on Supplier Spot? Then my job as Supplier Spot marketing person is to promote it. So give me your thoughts a little bit about Supplier Spot. What do you think?
No, I think it's great for the industry, right? It's a place where not only you have a business listing, but you can have what you have available, for campgrounds to purchase or to subscribe to, whatever that would be. So I think it's a great resource for people to go to find all of those various, items they may need, whether it's, pedestals or photography or an app, whatever else that may be. I think it's a great place to kind of simulate the trade show environment where you can go see what everybody's got, what they're offering. And then from there, you can either complete that purchase or reach out for more. So no, I think it's a great place to kind of take all of the vendors and put them into a place where we can all benefit from the marketing as well as the product listings and everything else from there.
Yeah. And that's my goal exactly is, You said it exactly for me, is just a one-stop spot. That's what I'm looking at. I'm just kind of browsing through here on the search listings piece so people can just kind of see all the people that are on there, all the businesses that are on there right now. That makes it easy for them to get to. But like for you, if somebody was looking for Campsite 360, they could simply come up here and type in Campsite 360 and boom, your logo pops up here, and you were able to upload some of your pictures and a few of your images of how you do the campsite. So, it shows your apps here that are part of this as well. And so this is what I really like about it. You got your menu over here. This is a Creek Fire Resort. So yeah, I mean, that was my goal behind it. And of course it shows what type of services you do. That's one thing that just reminded me too. I just found out you guys are going to start doing maps. So are you able to talk about that now?
Yeah, so we've been doing maps. It's one of the things that it's not like what we started with, but as many times as we've talked to parks that needed maps, it just made sense for us to start building and creating those. And we've done a lot of them this year, more so than in previous years, but it's just because of that need from the clients of They either needed an updated map or they didn't have a quality copy as we're building our interactive maps
Mhm.
that functioned well with mobile and desktop. It might have been too blurry or just working off of a picture. So, the need for creating maps just came out of the needs of our clients and everything, they have from their website and what they need updated when we are building our tours and interactive maps.
Well, that's great. So what I'm seeing here is like your interactive one here. Then this is cool how you can put up there the person's name, the site number they're going to. So yeah, this is awesome. So you're actually making these where they can print them out themselves, or if you provide printing for them and they have them at the office. Is that what the
So
interactive
we
map is?
create,
Or the
yeah, we'll
website?
create all the source files and everything. So we're not doing any of the printing. We're just creating the digital maps,
Okay.
and then they can have them printed. So we can customize it however our clients would want to if they want specific info on there. But we're creating that, and then we're able to leverage those into the virtual tours.
Okay.
And make them very interactive with the 360 photos and everything else we do. So it's an easy way for us to not only get to the or get the maps in a high quality fashion, but also have some say in how they're designed, and then how they work with our tours.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. So the digital version is great because I know the QR or the RV park could put on a QR code right on either their
Hmm.
website or something. Say, hey, scan, hit this QR code, and you can get right to our interactive map, digital, and then they save on printing, of course. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Yep.
that's awesome. So well, let's talk more about Campsite 360. I mean, how did you get the idea? How long has this been in business? How'd you get started? So just now's your time to let me know everything about it because really, I don't even know. That's what I love about doing these spotlights is I learn so much about everybody that I talk to. So
Yep. So all kind of started in 2019. So I grew up camping, went with my grandparents on trips. We had an RV. And then for years with my wife, I'd talked about getting an RV and going back into camping. And finally in 2019, she said, okay, let's do this. We know we're going to have to, take some of the things that we're doing and kind of say no to a lot of those if we're going to be going out camping on the weekends. Little did we know 5 months after we decided we're going to go to an RV show and buy an RV that COVID would happen. So that actually pushed us to camp a whole lot more in 2020. And through that camping, it was Labor Day of 2020, and we're sitting at a campground that, we were not expecting what was there, right? So there was the site that we had got, we had a better expectation than what it was.
mm,
But the reality was the site we had expected to get was 3 sites down and was still open.
mm,
So sitting there around the fire, I'm like, there's got to be a better way for us to know what campsite we're actually going to book. And instead of just going off of a colorful, map
mm,
that is hardly accurate to site sizes or layouts or even lining up of where those sites are. So that's where the idea of the 360 virtual tours came to. So about 3 months after that, we had filmed our first park in the middle of December in Ohio. So there's snow on the ground. And it was really just our learning, spot where we leveraged that into then marketing and selling to other parks across the country. Um, and this whole business is actually what got us going into full-time RVing. So the first summer after we started the business, we spent 50 days in our RV traveling around to Arkansas, Tennessee, Virginia, all these various places to go film these tours. And we came back from, I think it was Tennessee. And my wife said, I don't know why we're coming back. The only reason we're here is so you can mow. And we want to go get back out on the road.
yeah.
And I think it was 3 weeks after that we had sold our house.
Nice. That's pretty cool. So you guys have been full time and ever since, huh? So since 2020, yeah, that's great.
It was 2022 we actually launched. So through 2021 we sold the house. We spent the winter in Ohio. And then my wife was a teacher, so she had to finish out the school year. And then June of 2022 we actually got onto the road.
That's great. Well, cool. Yeah, I guess I didn't realize your wife's a teacher, so she can do all the homeschooling, teaching with your girls and everything. So
Exactly. So yeah, she handles all of that, which is she is working on right now with the kids.
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm just looking at your map here, all the places you got to. So when you were getting started, were you just calling campgrounds and saying, "Hey, I'm doing this 360 tour of campgrounds"? Were you like giving it to them pro bono at the beginning just so you could get going? I mean, how did that all work out? I mean, how do campgrounds, pick up the phone and be like, "Yeah, sure, come film my campground," or
Mhm.
"No, this sounds like a scam type thing"? I mean, how'd you get through that?
So I had done sales for most of my career, right? So picking up the phone and cold calling was never a concern on my side. It wasn't something that I was very against, right? So it was really easy for me just to pick up and start calling. But the reality was we did, I don't know why, we turned to mailers. And we just mailed out a whole bunch of stuff. And from that, we actually ended up getting three different clients. So that's kind of what started it was the mailers. And then cold calling was the other way that we got the word out. And then I think it was year two, we actually then started attending some of the state and national shows to increase that exposure.
Okay, that was gonna be my next question then. So trade shows and conferences pretty important for you guys?
They are, yeah. That's where we get a lot of the connections and a lot of our clients is at the trade shows, the state shows. Being a startup business, right? It's me and my wife running this. It's hard to get everywhere.
Yeah.
So that's why we've done a lot of the OHCE shows, the KOA shows, and those, as well as several of the bigger state shows. But that's been very important for us in our growth.
Yeah, I know. There was one time I think I was in Ohio. I went to the Ohio show last year, I believe it was. I think it was Ohio, and your
Hmm.
mom and sister were there, if I remember right.
Yes.
Yeah, and I walk up to the booth. I'm like, "Hey, you're not TJ," you know. And of course, I took a picture of me with them, little selfie with them, and sent it to you.
Yep.
So yeah, it was cool because I didn't know you had your mom and sister helping out as well. So it's always nice to have family helping out if they can. So like you, I know exactly what it's like to be the only person doing this. Like I'm the only person doing this. My wife, she has her own counseling practice. She's been a licensed therapist for almost 20 years now, so she doesn't have time to help me out with this stuff. So, which I don't mind. It's she's got her thing, I
Right.
got my thing, but it's really good. And I'm getting excited for these upcoming shows. I'm going to several of them coming up this fall and doing some fun stuff with Supplier Spot and trivia and bingo and just getting out there and seeing everybody again. It's always nice to come off of a busy summer and especially you've been traveling around so much, and I'm pretty sure I'll see you. I think you're going to Ojai. Is that right? You'll be at Ojai?
Yes. Yep. We'll be at the OHCE show in, what is it, Oklahoma City?
Yeah, Oklahoma
Um,
City. Yep. In
so that
November.
was kind of the plan for this trip. So we left from Ohio and we came out, we made it to the Pacific coast, and we're kind of looping back around to end up in Oklahoma City. So,
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
so we'll be down there with the RV and everything.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys all out there. So if I was an RV park campground owner, walk me through step by step, like do your little spiel to me to say, okay, this is what
Mhm.
we do, this is how we do it, and then what all entails if I was a campground owner and wanted you to come in and do a virtual tour for my campground.
Gotcha. So, kind of the overall of what we do is our primary business is virtual tours.
Okay.
And what we get with that, it's all photo based tours. And as we go through the park, we actually have photos of every single campsite. We have photos of all the amenities, and obviously that's customized based on each of our clients. So we do have a lot of parks where they have a big seasonal area where we may omit some of those. So really, the tours are customized to the areas of the park that we know we're going to help benefit, which is your overnights, your rentals, your cabins, those type of things. So we do cover all of the park, and we can cover it in with 360 pictures all throughout. So when you're going into the RV park, and in this one, you can go into the cabins or the cowboy cabins there, you'll actually see the front of every single site, every single cabin, every amenity that's there. We have it so it's basically a walking tour through the entire facility. And you can go into those cabins, you can go into the stores, you can go into, the playgrounds or whatever else it is there. We have all of those things throughout the tour. Everything is labeled. So that way when a guest comes in, they really know what we're looking at, what to expect, what they're going to get. And we try to make the navigation very simple. So with the tours, we actually integrate them into an interactive map. So when a guest is in here, they can click on the campground map. And then from there, they can actually click on all those sites and amenities and jump across the park. They can jump to the next site over. Wherever they want to go, we make it easy for them to get to.
That is cool. Yeah, like I'm just looking through these cabins right now, so this is awesome.
Yep. So, and then what you're seeing on this one here is, so we have the menus that are customizable. So on the left, what we have up is all of the cabin rentals. And if you click that close button down at the bottom of that menu, you'll actually see that we have some of their amenities listed there, the campground maps there. So we customize this piece of it to each one of the clients. So based on the navigation and the highlights that the guests are going to want to see, we'll customize that there. We also have a whole separate mobile interface that looks more like an app, that, we can fill with icons and quick navigation and everything else. What you're seeing here too is they had an event center where they set this up for weddings, and they also do business getaways and things like that. So what we did is we actually transitioned the tour to show both setups. So they have a wedding setup, and then they have a more educational setup. And so here they can use this tour to market not just the campground, but their venue that they rent out to businesses and weddings as well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And that's something we've seen a little more of. We have a lot of parks that have bigger water parks or ones that are open for day use, where they're taking these tours to help not just attract campers, but to attract other people for coming in for the day to increase revenue that way.
Yeah. No, this is awesome. I mean, it's really cool how you can just click on it and go right to it and just move around and look around. So yeah, this is great. So what
So
is
it does help a lot.
I'll say, what's it like a timeline of this? Let's say I had, I don't know, I'll just say hypothetically 50 sites, swimming pool or splash pad or whatever it is. What would be a timeline for you to come out and film my park and have it sent over to me? I know we were talking a little bit before off camera that you got so busy now that you're a little bit backlogged, which is, to say it takes a lot of work to put this together, but let's pretend you weren't backlogged. And how long would it take if you came in and did my park?
Typically the turnaround's 3 to 4 weeks to get a tour back. And a lot of that is we go through several revisions, right? So the photography is actually the quickest part. We have photographers that we use across the country. So typically filming, we can have somebody there within 2 weeks. And then the filming on site usually only takes a couple hours. So once we get all that content back, we then go through and we kind of go through it with a fine-tooth comb. We pick out the site pictures we're going to use. We do all the editing of the photos and all of that. So once we've built it, then obviously, we don't know the park as detailed as the park owners. We then send it over for review, ask the park to review it and make sure it's accurate to where things are and the sites are labeled correctly. And then that process usually takes 10 to 14 days to get done. And then from there, we can get it onto the website. So there are a couple back and forths on revisions and things like that. But typically your time frame is about 3 to 4 weeks to get the tour done, depending on the size of your park. Obviously, really smaller parks go a lot quicker. Larger parks, take quite a bit more time.
Okay, cool. Well, I noticed here too that it doesn't look like it's on their specific website, right? This is kind of like a separate entity from the business, like this one right here, Kickback Ranch website. So basically what I'm doing is I'm looking at just the virtual piece of it, right? So I'm not actually looking. So it looks like it's hosted like through a different type of, I don't know if it's technical, different server, but at least I can go through it. But the link is always coming from their website if they want it to come from their website. Is that right?
Correct. So we do host all these, and that allows us to maintain them, to continue to update them. And what we try to do is, for the clients we can, we try to integrate the tours to their DNS servers. So we'll try to link our hosting servers to their DNS. That way, any of the time on site and the SEO that they've built and are doing maintains with them, and using the tour doesn't count as a click away, right? So we try to, where we can, get this integrated to the DNS as much as possible. We do link away to it mostly for the fact of mobile users. The vast majority of our clients are using this on mobile, and by linking out to a full screen app like this, we can better customize that experience based on if you're using an iPad, a phone, a Galaxy phone, whatever it would be. The experience is better customized when you do jump this out into a new tab. But with that, if we're linked to the DNS, all of the activity and time on site does stay with your DNS servers.
Okay, Cool. Yeah. That all makes sense to me, of course. I know a lot of times people are like, I don't even know what they're talking about when you
Right.
DNS and hosting and all the other good stuff. So, no, that's cool. And I saw here you have a reserve now, and it jumps them right over to their reservation page so they can go right in through here and reserve their site. So, yeah, this is great stuff. Yeah, this is cool, man. I really like what you're doing here. So, is there anything else you want to touch on before we head on out?
Yeah, I think we've done a lot this summer. We've grown our team internally that we're doing this with, and then some of the other things that we have upcoming is we've been working for the last year to get our reservations integration started.
Okay.
So here very, very soon we'll be releasing our first integration with NewBook.
Oh,
And
great.
we'll have that live actually as we're talking. That should be here, within the next couple weeks that we'll have that live and up. So that's kind of the next thing we're doing with the virtual tours is, through the analytics and tracking that we've done, we can see when guests come in, their first experience, they browse 60% of the tour, of the park.
Okay.
And then after they've, understood what's there, they've looked through everything. We then see them jump out and come back to individual sites, and they'll do that 2 to 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're doing now is instead of them having to jump out to booking to see what's available, then to go check the sites, we're actually going to integrate all of the reservation data into the tours. So when a guest comes in, we'll have an interactive map that updates live with availability for their dates and their, filter requirements. Mm-hmm. We will also then throughout the tour show what's available and what's not, and we'll allow that guest to, once they see a site, they can click on a site number and actually complete the reservation directly through the tour without ever having to leave. So the goal of this is to shorten the buying cycle, right? So as a full-time RVer, we spend a ton of time researching campgrounds, researching campsites. What are we going to get? What's it going to be like? Especially with kids, what are the amenities like? So what we're trying to do is give all of that data and make it very, very simple for that guest to then say, that's the site I want to book.
Yeah, that's awesome. Anything to make things simpler. And that's my whole goal too. Right back around to Supplier Spot. I want them to be able to find you, contact you. If people are selling products, they can purchase the products right on the site. That's the whole goal behind Supplier Spot, which is kind of the same concept you're doing with virtual tours and integrations. So that's cool. You're doing it with NewBook. I'm actually going to be doing a spotlight with Mr. Blake Burris here on Supplier Spot in the next couple of days. So excited to get him on. He's a lot of fun. So, that's what I love so much about this industry. And I'm sure I don't want to speak for you, but I'm assuming that, we've met so many great people, and I've actually turned them into more like friends than just colleagues, people that I know. Like I mentioned Joe earlier with At My Community. We had one scheduled, but something came up, and I haven't really got back out to him. But I'm sure he's swamped and busy too. So one day I'll get him back on, or get him on. But other than that, though, I really do appreciate you taking the time, TJ. I know you're really busy. You got everything going on with your family, and now these integrations and more stuff going on. So I do appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to come on Spotlight and let people learn a little bit more about Campsite 360.
No, I'm glad to be here. It was a lot of fun and looking forward to the shows. And that's kind of the funny part of going to the shows is like, it's just reconnecting with friends in a lot of the places. So it's like, we look forward to the fall because you get to see everybody after the state shows are done and everybody's into the summer swing. You kind of regroup and get to reconnect. So looking forward to that this fall.
Yeah, so I'll see you at several shows coming up here pretty soon. So other than that, though, once again, this was TJ Ammon. Him and his wife started Campsite 360. Check it out. Their website's campsite360.com. Or again, if you just go right up here to Supplier Spot, makes it very simple. You can go and check out other people too. But just type in Campsite 360 up here in the search bar, and you'll find his information. You send him a message, it'll email it right to TJ, and he'll respond to you. So thanks again, TJ, for being on here. Appreciate it.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, Bobby.
Yep. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Supplier Spot Spotlight. Keep shining bright in the RV, park, and campground outdoor hospitality industry. Stay tuned for more illuminating conversations with industry experts. Until next time, enjoy the great outdoors.